Double down.
In the capital rotunda. I was mostly silent for that solid hour. Just silence as the sound of morning.
Bro, it's a free thing.
We'll be joined tonight by some people who are usually
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
don't leave the party. Let me go put my jacket on.
Donald Trump and the Senate nominee because they write
yeah, don't finna make you, baby, okay?
Your legacy.
It's bringing back memories.
Hey, hurry up
They
here,
did
Bob.
my best views.
See how sensitive your phone screen really is? Try to pause the video by touching in between the like and follow button. If you can actually do it, comment what type of fun you have. Want to see how sensitive your phone screen really is? Try to pause the video by touching in between the like and follow button. If you can actually do it, comment what type of fun you have. Want to see how sensitive your phone screen really is? Try to pause the video by touching in between the like and follow button. If you can actually do it, comment what type of fun you have. Want to see how sensitive your phone screen really is? Try to pause.
Bro, they be making mad modded outfits. Shut up. Oh, hell. Bro, I got doodle niggas on my team, bro. I got hooked on. Bro, why do I always have that? Never mind. Oh, that's my teammate tripping. What's the next? That could have been it. Nikki, what game you playing? I call him Choji. Bro, this nigga got a... Come on. Let's see what else.
Another big story coming from the Capitol today. The utter crack-up of the GOP. House Republicans are currently going at each other over their support for Donald Trump in a closed-door conference meeting.
Go, this stuff.
Is Liz Cheney, who defended her vote to impeach the president. And in the other are all the members who supported overthrowing the will of 81 million Americans.
Yo, my
What to do? Marjorie Taylor Greene,
shit.
not wanting to infuriate a core constituency of his party,
But why would you leave?
He has refused to remove Greene from her committee,
You're so free.
including on education, even after her past promotion of school shooting conspiracy theories and endorsing the assassination of her current Democratic colleagues, including Speaker Pelosi. McCarthy did issue a statement late this afternoon assuring everyone that he gave Marge a stern...
I can't be a level 7.
He left the punishment, however, to Democrats. The Congresswoman remains America, and more importantly, the Republican Party has faced this predicament before. Extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice. Apparently, extremism, it actually is a vice. And unlike McCarthy, conservative leaders like Richard Nixon and William F. Buckley, despite the Birchers' growing popularity based on their anti-communist and evangelical zeal rallied to boot them out of the party, calling them kooks and nuts who were devoid of conservative ideals. And they ultimately chased them out, or at least they quieted them down. How kooky were the Birchers? They opposed
I call them Choji.
to the nation's water supply, arguing it was an involuntary mass medical treatment. And their big conspiracy theory was that most of the United States government, including former Republican President Dwight D. Eisenhower, were under secret communist mind control. Today, Mother Jones is reporting that Congresswoman Margie Q. Green was of a Facebook group that pushed death threats, racist tweets,
Boy, she thought she was out the jammies.
the John Birch Society.
Get that nigga.
Make no mistake, Ms. Green is not
What
involved
do
here.
with it?
In her extremist views, she just happens to be boasting enough to proclaim her hate on social media. A modern-day Bircher. Producer.
Bro, y'all free.
The circuit. David Jolly, former Republican congressman, who's no longer affiliated with the party, and David Korn, Washington bureau chief for Mother Jones, and the journalist behind that Birch Society scoop.
I'm a sugar crush. I'm gonna fuck it.
So today you had actually the Speaker of the House refer to Kevin McCarthy as Q California because he just won't rein this woman in. We're now hearing that
I'm a
Q
sugar crush. I'm gonna fuck it.
inside.
Yeah, maybe I
This is
should
Jake
check.
Sherman of Punchbowl reporting that Margie Q got a standing ovation inside of the caucus when
Oh,
she gave a little
let me
speech.
just get out the dummies.
In your view, in your reporting, are we basically
Oh, snap. That could have been a child.
Well, we are, but it seems to be the flip side of that movement. As you noted in your great setup, when the Birchers were producing these crazy conspiracy theories about Dwight Eisenhower, the civil rights movement was totally controlled by the communists. It was really, the big thing was that this is all a giant internationalist cabal for one world government to take over the United States. And William F. Buckley in the mid-60s, and even Ronald Reagan, a conservative champion, feared that the John Birch Society was tainting the conservative movement, making them look like wackos, and making it harder for Republicans
That's not
to
a
win
bro.
elections.
This
So Buckley, who was the godfather of modern conservatism,
female.
essentially drummed the Birchers out of polite company when it came to the GOP and the conservative movement. Now, 50 years, more than 50 years later, we have a similar situation, except the leaders of the GOP are not doing that. You have Donald Trump, who has endorsed a lot of conspiracy theories, and it's all the same thing. It's about the deep state, traitors, liberals being, the enemies of the nation, and got to get rid of them. It's all about paranoia and fear and get rid of the UN. It's really kind of exactly the same thing. If you go to the website that I wrote about today, you'll see many of the exact same themes that the Birchers were promoting. And so now, 50, 60 years later, you don't have the heads of the Republican Party trying to push the Birchers to the side. From talk radio to Donald Trump, they're embracing these
Look at you.
ideas. And Kevin McCarthy is basically saying, can't do much about this because
Come here,
the
boy.
party has become a radicalized base that believes a lot of the stuff that you
Those are my cookies.
It's like the 60s, but backwards.
Really give me my cookie.
Exactly. And David, you were a part of this party. I mean, back during the 1960s and going into 1970s, I mean, it's not as if the people who pushed the Birchers out were not also ultra-right conservatives, right? I mean, you have Ronald Reagan, who opposed Medicare and thought it was some sort of communist plot or socialist plot that was going to destroy the United States of America, right? You had William F. Buckley, who opposed the Civil Rights Act. So these were not people who were not conservative. I mean, Liz Cheney is a far-right winger who has almost a perfect voting record with Trump. So it doesn't even matter how right-wing these people are. What essentially has happened is, the speaker said they're going to give the keys to Green. She has the keys already, does she not?
Oh, she certainly does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Joyce, she certainly does. And you're peeling back a very important nuance in the politics of all this right now, which is that these are not debates on the left-right ideological spectrum that you typically see among parties. Right? If you look at today's Democratic Party, we know in November there was a debate between the moderates and progressives about who bore responsibility for November losses. You see the debate over procedure. Should they use reconciliation in the Senate and just go to 51 votes to get Biden's agenda passed? Those are traditional
Damn, early boy.
debates that are had within parties. These are
You
not
early boy.
ideological left-right debates, conservative versus moderate in today's Republican parties. These are debates over
You
fundamental values of democracy. Was Liz Cheney correct in admonishing the president for inciting a violent insurrection against the United States? Is Marjorie Greene right or wrong for elevating conspiracy theories that the FBI has suggested could be a threat to our own domestic security here within our shorelines? Those are debates within the Republican Party. The Democrats are having debates over ideology. Republicans are having debates over values. And
Yo,
frankly, they're losing that debate in the eyes of the American people.
You know, and it strikes me, Alex, that the response of Republicans to these questions about whether or not Marjorie Q. Greene is dangerous or wants to see the speaker killed, their response is, Ilhan Omar, Ilhan Omar, Ilhan Omar. She's a Muslim. That's bad. Right? I mean, you've got now not only Marjorie Greene herself tweeting out images of Representative Omar, who they fixate on along with AOC. You've got a lawmaker, a Republican member of the House, pushing to swap out the Democratic push to get Greene expelled and swap in Congresswoman Omar's name in there. And that is sponsored by 5 entire human Republicans inside of the House from Texas, Arizona, all over the place, including Ronnie Jackson, who, for God's sakes, used to be the White House doctor, which scares me. It goes on and on and on. It's all about the one hijab-wearing congresswoman. That's the boogie woman. That's the boogie woman, right? So you've been down in this district, in her district, Marjorie Greene's district, talking to her voters. Is that where they are? Are they just worried that that lady is in Congress, not that their congresswoman is there?
So I spent a day in the 14th district of Georgia, which is, of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene's congressional district, and I was talking to one of the county Republican chairs about how they're grappling with this moment. And I will say, there are a lot of ethical and logical pretzels that they are tying themselves up into. But you're right, Joy. They want to make this a false equivalence. They want to say, oh, Democrats tolerate outlandish remarks in their caucus. Why can't we? This is an issue of freedom of speech. This is an issue of cancel culture, liberal overreach once again. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a fighter. She's a fighter for us, and she deserves to stay on those committees. She deserves to stay in Congress. That's the way they think they win this, because they say Marjorie Taylor Greene was elected to Congress to not pull any punches, to be a fighter in the mold of Donald Trump, and by God, we're going to let her do that. The more they can get away from Jewish space lasers starting wildfires and Parkland being a false flag, the firmer territory they feel like they're on. So, yes, you see that argument laid out in the piece of the Wall Street Journal. You see
it's just flawless, isn't it? I mean, I literally couldn't imagine a more beautiful vessel for elected to be.
Argument laid out in the piece of the Wall Street Journal. You see it coming from the minority leader's desk. This is their new. This is the battle that they want to have. They want this to be about the Democrats cancel conservative thought and conservative speech, because that is the only way you get past the insanity of what Marjorie Taylor Greene has endorsed in the recent past.
Well, and I think that is the perfect point to make, David Jolly, because this has been the big argument in conservatism. It's not been about, like, conservative ideas or what they think should be done about the size of the administrative state. It has been about that. It has been about the culture saying you can't say X. You can't use the N-word if you're not a rapper. You can't, you can't disparage Muslims because people then cancel you. You get canceled if you're racist. You can't be racist, or you get called racist and you get canceled. That's what they care about. They only care about these cultural things, whether or not, protested. Like, that's all they care about.
There are millions upon millions of Americans in the Florida districts who feel that their values are disrespected by the political establishment. Right? Whether that's right or wrong, that is a motivating influence to inform their politics. Republicans have seized on that, but in a very dangerous way. They have lit a match to it and have abandoned all reason and truth. And I go back to this abandonment of reason and truth as such a critical matter, because this is a national security test for Republicans in this moment. The FBI has said it is not
the rise of nationalism. We have always had nationalism in our politics. It is the spread of disinformation that is motivating the actions of these white nationalists. That is the misinformation that
Chop out of nowhere.
Marjorie Greene has staked her
This nigga
political
on
platform.
my boat.
And shame on Kevin McCarthy for how he handled it, because I guarantee you
Chop out.
today, Joy, that Kevin McCarthy in private did not admonish
Hello?
Marjorie Greene. Kevin McCarthy counseled
What's up?
Marjorie Greene on how to get through this moment politically and in the eyes of the public.
Bro, I'm kidding, bro. My team is ass, bro. Chop out of nowhere.
He is going to do whatever he can to help her through this.
I can barely hear you.
It did better.
How much into these
How old are you?
did this group, this Facebook group that Marjorie Greene was hosting, did? Because it seems to me that she isn't some aberrant figure inside of Republican politics.
That could have been a child.
No, she isn't. I mean, Donald Trump wasn't an aberrant figure. He has been promoting conspiracy theories for years. Those theories got him into the job in the first place in terms of Republicans. So we see, to David Jolly's point, John Boehner, wanted the Tea Party, despite a lot of the hatred and some of the conspiracy theories they were pushing. Now you have Marjorie Taylor. It's not just conspiracy theories, but Jewish space lasers and
You're a job guy?
Junior being killed in some mysterious cabal. It's also violence. This is when we didn't see this. If you go back and compare to the Berkshires again, you see this really.
Bro, I got two.
Memes and other things that are on this Facebook page.
Hold on, let me get out that jam.
Nutty ideas.
And Alex, that is what strikes me, is that, there are all these write-ups about the sort of end of Bircherism, that the prediction was that it was going to inspire sort of an extreme radicalism on the right, in which the party could indeed devolve into a sort of web of conspiracy theories all based on this demographic panic.
I guess so.
How pervasive is the kind of thinking that we're seeing among Marjorie Greene? Because I suspect it's more pervasive than we would like to think.
I think it's probably a multi-step.
Bro, cause they is.
Talking to the number of folks in this
I got doodle teammates. Yo, when I'm done making my outfit,
and then there's social media.
What you say?
Social media feeds that spin up some of the lunatic
Hold up, I gotta make my outfit first.
When they're sanitized into people's own Facebook feeds, it becomes much more palatable. It becomes much more real. And I think it speaks
Why didn't she accept my friend?
factor in Republican circles right now, which is fear and paranoia. And then when you add sort of news to get
It's a girl or a boy?
really like untethered web of alt reality. That's what's happening to people who are otherwise
You don't know how?
people living in the world, right? And as David Jolly points out,
It's a YouTube video.
the break between like
Yeah, just type a pretty girl face.
paranoid rabbit hole into which
Type a pretty girl face.
30 to 40% of the century's fallen is the work of the 20th century and the work of Republican leadership. If they had any hope
Your
of
mama
saving
must have drugged the ass. I mean, like, here she says she's driving. We lobbing through the lobby.
And why this panel
That
doesn't
hoe
look like it
try
used
to
to in the
ride.
1960s. And somebody who's a common person or sort of authoritative starts telling you,
Oh, she accepted
even
it.
if they say it's because of lasers, after a while you start to believe it. That's what's
How old are you?
wild to watch it happen. Alex Wagner.
Capital, I can't help but think about the fact that
Where my oppressor? Yeah, tried to rob me.
Just discovered that I may have a son here. Tom and Shaft before she gets.
Yo, don't try to do your voice like that. the hell?
King of the moon. You are the heir to the throne. Yes, my son. He's supposed to be like the prince of Wakanda. Wakanda is a fictional place. It's a kingdom. It's a very real nation. I don't need no handout.
Why the?
King or King's son from America. And my mom. And his mom. Who's it? It is your brother.
I don't know. Jello, Jello, away with it, away with it. Yo. Yeah.
From everywhere. You must be strong. And General Izzy would love nothing more than to take over the world. I must admit that aspiring to my kingdom is impressive. That's right. Let me hear you say, hey, I'll get it on. No, that's the mother. Oh, don't you say, oh, not you. Almost ready to become a prince. Almost. Ceremonial circumcision.
Hi.
They're gonna sharpen you too, nephew.
Join that party. Join that group party she invited you to. Shit, mad crazy. Yo, dude muted his mic. Law. Alright, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the knife. Yo, why you sound like that? Sound like the niggas out trying to booty rape me. Oh yeah. What did he say?
Shut the fuck up.
Who the hell are you talking to? Calm down, Jamal.
Imagine adding me, inviting me. Check out extra deals of that.
Who invited you?
You, let's see what you think.
Nah, I think the ghost. A glass crackhead.
Shut the fuck up.
Who the hell is dude talking to? Teach me better. Teach me better, you little fucker.
As an activist for the most marginalized members of our society at that time, we were protesting the fact that we were passing a $2 trillion tax giveaway, mainly to the richest of the rich, while taking much needed resources away from the children's health care program, resources needed from
Your
folks
internet
who are
is
living
right.
on the edge. And today I stand here having moved from being an agitator to a legislator with the opportunity to translate my protests into public policy. And that's what we intend to do in this COVID-19 relief package. We've got to get the people of America and the people of Georgia the relief that they need. It is urgent. It needs to be quick. It needs to be fair, and it needs to be equitable. And so we will be working hard to make sure that the vaccine is distributed,
Trying to boot me.
to make sure that we can safely reopen our schools, and that people have the relief that they need.
You want a 1v1?
You want a 1v1? Huh?
You want a 1v1?
And the committee assignments that I have position me
Why?
to do the work that I promised the people of Georgia that I will do.
But you asked me, when you joined the party, do you want a 1v1?
$2,000 checks.
Bro, my gun is ahead.
You won. Are the checks that come to Georgians going to be $2,000 or $1,400? And if it's not $2,000, is that a problem for you?
Listen, I think that it is important that we get the people of Georgia aid and that we get it as soon as possible. And that's what I intend to do. I think that the people of Georgia, while the politicians are going back and forth, haven't seen any relief at all. And so we intend to deliver.
You want to make chalk outfits?
But we are very focused on getting people in rural Georgia the assistance that
is it cool? Is it like good?
While I was on the campaign trail, who have been slammed over the last few years and have not gotten the kind of support that they need.
What other color joggers you get? What other color joggers you get?
And just to
that's it.
If the current bill, the 1.9 trillion passes, and the checks are $1,400, will you push for another 600 to make that total?
Yo, session 4 players.
I've been pushing for $2,000 to make sure that people get the aid that they need. But I think that there's more than one entry point to make sure that folks get the relief that they need, and we're working on that. For example, I've been standing up for the earned income tax credit. The child tax credit. I think that there are tools in the toolbox to get the people who are struggling the support that they need.
Legislation. Just to be clear, if that passes, will it put us back to the pre-clearance standards of the original 1965 Voting Rights Act? Or will it require that states show that they already engaged in discrimination and that there have been lawsuits that have proved that there's been discrimination in order for those states to be pre-cleared? Because in that second instance, it seems that some states where there hasn't been a lawsuit yet could get by and still discriminate against voters.
Listen, voter suppression is something that we take very seriously. And I wouldn't be here if we weren't fighting so hard against it in the state of Georgia, which in many ways continues to be ground zero for voter suppression. You see that as a result of what we achieved in January, the Georgia State Legislature is busy right now. There are legislators who think that if they don't like the outcome, that they ought to change the rules. And so we're working hard to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. It will provide, indeed, the kinds of protections that you need to mitigate against the very tricks that we're seeing being played right now in the Georgia State Legislature. But in addition to that, I am a co-sponsor for the People Act, which will expand people's access to the ballot box. In the United States of America, we shouldn't be making it harder to vote. We ought to be making it easier. Through early voting, same-day registration, by providing the states the kinds of resources that we need to make sure that people have access to the ballot box. And we proved in Georgia that when the people can vote, when all the people can vote, you get historic outcomes. And apparently there's some folk who don't like it, so they're trying to change the rules, which is why we ought to work very hard to pass the For the People Act, and also the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Those things together will take us a long way with expanding access to the ballot box and providing
I don't know why I can't call it.
that we need.
Nobody on right now.
Warnock, are you preaching on Sunday? I know you said you were going to try to fly home and preach. Are you preaching in Ebenezer on Sunday?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to preach on Sunday morning at Ebenezer Church.
All right, the Reverend Senator Raphael Warnock, thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate your time tonight. Some of the words ignited
I bet I can't even drive this. Oh, I can't. I don't care.
The events of January 6th were the culmination of a months-long campaign by the former president to discredit the vote, deliberately spreading the big lie that the election was stolen from him. He stoked the tinderbox, then lit the flame. But according to his impeachment defense lawyer, the ex-president is not responsible for the things he says.
Just because somebody gave a speech and people got excited, that doesn't mean that the speechmaker's fault. It's the people who got excited and
Yeah, hello.
know it was wrong that are at fault.
Okay. So only the MAGA mob deserves the blame, not their dear leader. Got it. Meanwhile, several defendants involved in the siege are pointing the finger right back. As one of their lawyers argued in court, this offense must be viewed through the lens of an event inspired by the President of the United States. Joining me now is
Hi.
Jeffries of New York, chairman of the House Democratic Caucus.
Do you want to play a game?
Mr. Chairman, listening to the argument that the Trump lawyers are making, they're essentially trying to divorce him from the events that took place on January 6th. What do you make of that argument?
That's correct, and it's an argument that I think should carry no weight. Donald Trump summoned the mob to Washington. He then incited the mob during his remarks, and then directed the mob to march toward the Capitol, where we know there was a violent attack and an insurrection and an attempt to try to halt the peaceful transfer of power. And Joy, as you indicated, he also perpetrated this whole affair by fanning the flames of the insurrection by telling the big lie that the election was stolen from him. Joe Biden wasn't going to be the legitimate next president of the United States of America, and if they wanted to do something about it, they needed to show strength. And that's why Donald Trump needs to be held accountable for his actions and inciting a violent insurrection.
You know, the question is whether or not there are enough senators who will do that. You were an impeachment manager the first time, and you saw the obstinance of Republicans, even the idea of having witnesses. Here is a potential witness. If this person were to be called, this is one of the members of Congress who witnessed the attack, and she's particularly compelling. Jackie Spear, who is a congresswoman, who survived the Jonestown attacks before all of the people killed themselves in my mother's home country of Guyana, the Americans who flew down there and killed themselves. There was actually a shootout on the tarmac in the airport in Georgetown in Guyana in 1978. Jackie Spear was shot 5 times. We have a picture here of her when Jim Jones's Colt converged on them. And here she was talking earlier today. She did an interview in which she talked about her experience then versus her experience on January 6th.
There were 30 of us that were in the gallery when the pounding started on the doors of the chamber, and then a shot rang out, and I was, thrown back in time to 1978 when I
back to your mom, back to your mom.
Shot us at point blank range.
If you were an impeachment manager this time around, would you call
Oh my God, you're so free.
like Jackie Spear?
Oh my god.
Imagine still saying that.
There's videotape information that can be presented in Jackie Spears' story is particularly compelling, as is the case with those members who were in the game.
What?
They experienced terror firsthand. And as Jackie Spears is
What's wrong with being level 13? Like, let's go with y'all, glass.
looking back to some of the most traumatic moments that they
Like, niggas don't sub this every day just to buy an account.
a particularly traumatic moment, and it's very tough. And for her
Nigga, you sound like you're 12.
in such a compelling way,
would find that moving.
Bro, you sound mad, bro. Who the hell raised that dumbass kid?
The evidence and the information and the witnesses that they are going to present, but I do remain hopeful that the senators on the Republican side of the aisle,
The joke that was funny that you're a waste of sperm.
apply the law, be guided by the Constitution, and let the chips fall where they may, even if that means convicting Donald Trump.
Your mom should have wiped you on your bed.
Congressman, you are among other things, you are a New Yorker.
Who the hell is dude talking to you like I want to kill your dad? That ass bomb.
You are somebody who is understands the struggle.
You sound like a white ass bum.
The easy treatment.
Like, damn, bro. I bet you still, bro. Oh my mama, bro. Shut your dumb ass up. Don't ever say that, Yellow. You can't say that. Yeah, you can't say that. You're white. You can't say nigga. I don't think you got one. I don't think you got a. I think you got a wiener.
How do you feel about that?
Certainly, I hope that the relevant authorities will close the book at those who violently attack the
You sound like a bro. Bro, you still, bro, nigga, your mom be in a, oh my god, this nigga.
Justice done, and justice in this case means serious jail time after a serious prosecution.
You make no sense, nigga. You said keep talking to you, my bitch. Ugly ass bum like gun somewhere. Ugly ass. Bro, who is dude? Shut your ugly ass up. Bro, I already fucked your mom 3 times.
Stop all that fuck.
We've got the biggest selection in San Andreas. Perfect day for you, huh? I like that one.
We couldn't stop the virus. We could slow it down and protect people who might be vulnerable and make sure we had enough hospital capacity to take care of those who would need it. But that we were going to do it together and allow people to be flexible to take care of their families and still put food on the table. So, that was a unique approach.
Bro, why is she still talking, bro? She's getting on my nerves.
We did have tragedies and we did have losses, but we also got through it better than virtually every other state.
Bro, shut up. What is she talking about? Mayonnaise first. Nobody want to hear that.
A straight face that her state has done, quote, better than virtually every state on the slightest. South Dakota is the number 2 state in the entire country when it comes to the number of per capita cases, behind only North Dakota. And they're not doing very well when it comes to deaths either. There's a reason South Dakota is in this position. Kristi Noem was one of the few governors not to implement stay-at-home guidelines at the beginning of the pandemic. That soon backfired, with the Smithfield pork processing plant becoming one of the largest coronavirus clusters in the entire country. When Trump decided to start holding rallies again, she was right there with him at Mount Rushmore. And then there was the Sturgis motorcycle rally, which hundreds of thousands of people from all over the country traveled to, and which became one of the biggest super spreader events in the entire country. Here's Noem directly encouraging people to come on out to this thing. We know we can have
What?
these events, give people information, let them protect their health, but still enjoy their way of life and enjoy events like the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. We hope people come. Our economy benefits when people come.
Wait, what did you say?
And by November, the Dakotas were leading.
I don't know how you saying that. Imagine me at level 13 and you're level 13.
She actually made it harder for indigenous communities in her state to enact checkpoints to stop the spread of the virus where they live. It's a microcosm of what's happened throughout this entire pandemic. After the break, I'll be joined by the president's senior advisor.
I already said that. How you gonna say something I already said?
With the fact that the virus is disproportionately hitting communities of color. And with variants spreading, the disparities could get even worse. A 35-year-old black man in Alabama, Alphonse A. Jackson Jr., one of the first dive.
Bro, why do she,
One
bro?
of my favorite follows on Twitter. I'm so excited to have you on, Andy, because I follow you on Twitter. I'm a big fan of you. So let's get right to it. The disparity between African Americans and other people of color getting the vaccines and white Americans. Chris Hayes has this great analogy where it's a three-part system. It's supply, having enough vaccine, it's distribution, being able to get it out, and it's demand.
Bro, yeah, she getting on my nerves now. I want to shoot her in her head.
Is that there's just not enough to go around? Is there a resistance among African Americans that
He said anxiety.
Well, Joy, this is the exact.
I'm pretty sure nobody want to hit you up.
Do people want to know what structural racism means? This is what structural racism means. It means that if our attended systems just naturally bias in favor those with more access, means, and advantage. So I think things are going on at all levels probably, and it's hard to parse it out entirely. But we have things going on now which I think I might refer to as vaccine gentrification. So the vaccines that we put into low-income communities, into communities with large portions of racial and ethnic minorities, people are coming from the suburbs who probably never visited those communities or haven't in a long time, and getting in line because they know that that's where we're putting a lot of these vaccines. We see people who have kids who get on their iPhones and iPads for them because they've got lots of technology, and they get the first appointments. These are just things that happen happening all over the place. So unless an extended effort is made, and there are some extraordinary things we're doing and are going to do, this will get worse and worse, and we cannot let that happen.
And so tell us what some of those extraordinary things will be. I mean, we didn't even Dolly Parton, who I love, by the way.
Yo, hello.
But she said, look, I'm not going to get it. She put $1 million into the Moderna vaccine. She's still not going to get it because she's like, until everybody can get a shot, I'm not going to get a shot. But not everybody is her. As you've described, people are going to try to get it because they have access to technology, et cetera, and money. How do we change this?
Yes. So, I was talking to a couple of different states where they were opening up big stadiums to do mass vaccinations, and one of them just did it the old normal way. They put it out in some stadium, and they had naturally what you expect to happen. The other one arranged with local churches to provide buses, so that the first people out there were people from racial ethnic minorities. And what they told me, at least self-reported, is that they had triple the level of access, that they had 30% of the vaccine went to racial ethnic minorities, and the state was averaging less than that. So it's a good thing, but we've got to do that in everything we do. We're going to be shortly announcing that we're going to be moving vaccines into federally qualified health centers. Remember also that a lot of people in black and brown communities don't have a regular doctor.
I don't know where to find that stood at.
This is a function of our healthcare system not providing.
And then where it go where?
It's not just a function of COVID-19. And so,
folks,
we need to make vaccines available in kind of non-traditional places. I had a call today with church leaders. There are people in states that are setting up tents or churches when people go on Sunday, because that's where we know people do go. So I do think there's probably also a hesitancy.
What number is it on?
In these communities as well, not to take anything from
the
those
soup.
issues, but we've got to do a better job.
The governor did, which is really on Publix, which is both a politically problematic entity based on the money that it's given to like the 1/6 rallies, but also isn't located in communities of color. That is one issue that, these supermarkets don't locate in communities of color. So if that's the basis of distribution, no one's ever going to get it. I know that you guys have opened
I don't see that. I don't see it.
site. You've done that now in California. Is that going to be sort of the model state to do it, or?
Hold up, I know how to make it.
Thanks for referring to that announcement. So in East Los Angeles,
What type of shoes do you have on?
And in the East Bay of San Francisco, I should say Oakland area, those are two of the first mass vaccination centers we're opening. We're obviously being very
I can make an
sensitive
outfit
to
if you want.
people that have the means to get anywhere they need to get vaccines, and so we're needing to locate them where these communities are, where it's easier for them. So that's important. Look, and I think the message to the public is I'd love to.
Do you have 10 joggers?
When we came in here and there was a big stockpile.
Our join session.
That there would be, 100 million.
Yeah, because it's not going to let me join you.
That there was all kinds of parallel production of vaccines over the course of last year. That's not what we found. We found that there was no stockpile of vaccines. So we are doing is we're getting vaccines.
Trying to make a Chop Guy outfit with
about 2 to 3 days of inventory in case there's production issues. And
yeah, we could do black.
Since January 20th, we increased our allotment of vaccines out by about a third. So we are steadily gaining on it week by week. There's no silver bullets. This is not the administration that's going to promise us silver bullets, but it is hard work. It's working aggressively and it's finding every opportunity. And we will continue to grow those vaccines over the next few months.
I really thank you for being here. Just to remind everyone, 26 million cases, 451,000 deaths. I sort of choke on having to even give those numbers every night. It's terrifying. So we are rooting for you. Andy Slavitt, you're great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here this evening. We definitely are rooting for you.
Sorry.
Hi, Nicole. Thank you so much, and welcome to The Beat. I'm Ari Melber, and tonight, Washington and the nation are honoring Capitol Hill after dying defending the Capitol. And all ceremonies is the fallout over the lies and conspiracy theories that powered the insurrection, and that continues. Republicans vowing to sustain pressure and holding a meeting to discuss potential sanctions or condemnation for a newly elected Congresswoman, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's trafficked in hate, lies, anti-Semitism, and appeals to violence before she entered Congress.
It's gone. Freedom doesn't come back by itself. The only way you get your freedoms back is that it's earned with the price of blood.
What's new here is Republicans holding a private meeting with her, with Congresswoman Greene. And afterwards, leader Kevin McCarthy put out a statement saying, quote, "I condemn those comments unequivocally." He also went on to blame Democrats for what he sees as taking an unprecedented step to further their, quote, partisan power grab regarding the committee assignments of the other party. Speaker Pelosi speaking out and basically stating that at this point she doesn't
I'm joining your apartment.
Nation under pressure as enough, and she sees there basically being no real Republican reckoning by House Leader McCarthy. Indeed, she is out with a I'll show it to you here. She argues that he's now more the leader of the party of QAnon than the Republican Party, and she underscores that here in this statement you see on your screen, which, if you look at the highlighted part, it literally identifies McCarthy not by the traditional R of California for Republican, but in her telling, as Q.
Hold up, alright, go all the way back.
Now that's a piece of political pressure and rhetoric, since on paper McCarthy is a registered Republican, not a registered QAnon. But the point shows just how seriously Pelosi and others want to take this right now, especially after the insurrection at the Capitol and the ongoing security issues that are, even DHS says, intensified by political lies. Now, the Democrats run the House, and they're prioritizing a floor vote tomorrow that would go further and strip Taylor Greene of her
Show me all your outfits.
that has been used against members of both parties who've gone way over the line.
What's next?
Show me your outfit. Your outfits.
I don't know what the hell it is. I find
I'm gonna tell you when to stop.
deeply offensive.
I am not here to defend Representative Greene.
Stop.
I'm here to defend
Go back one with that black shirt.
Republican leadership isn't holding her accountable for her abhorrent
Oh,
statements
over.
and incitement.
No, not that one.
Signal that they won't tolerate.
The one with the green shirt, I meant.
Now,
That one.
4 years of a certain
How do you get that shirt?
America do want to move on, especially from what they associate as the antics of the last president.
Hold up.
This green controversy does show that while some things did end on January 20th,
It's in sweaters.
runs far deeper in America right now. In fact, the dangerous brew of conspiracy theories, political fantasy, and outright hate.
Take me to the clothing store.
The author Kurt Anderson wrote a whole book about, and he joins us in a moment for that broader historical perspective. We kick off the broadcast show with two guests who also confronted these issues head on. Here to represent facts, if you will, we have veteran journalist Margaret Carlson. And in the growing battles over truth in civic life, I'm joined again by Representative Malcolm Kenyatta. He's a Democrat who's tangled with mounting conspiracy theories about voting in Pennsylvania. In fact, I'll remind viewers, he previously joined us in December when we spoke with him as a Biden delegate and a counterpart who